Hey Sharpie, ready for the next module. We've got, this next module is all about stress and how to reduce it. What we're going to talk about is a number of different things. Stress really is so prevalent now in modern day life, and we're going to cover really what is stress and what are the causes of stress in modern day life. And what is the stress response in our body, what happens in our body to deal with it. We're also going to talk about how it can affect us. We're going to talk about what we can do to reduce it. Okay, so stress. Let's go back again in time in history to think about the stress response and how helpful it is to us. Stress in the right amounts and the right doses can be good for us. It's what means that we're all alive here today and able to live on this planet still. If we didn't have the stress response, we wouldn't have survived. So let's think about this for a moment. Going back to, say, caveman days, okay? So we're hunter-gatherers, and we'd go out hunting, and then while we're going out hunting or foraging, we're walking through, having a good look around, and then guess what happens? Suddenly, out jumps a saber-toothed tiger. Ah! Okay, we want to do one of two things. And this is the stress response. We either want to fight the saber-toothed tiger, or we want to get gone and run away as quick as possible. Fight or flight, you may have heard of it before. So, in that high state of alertness, with that saber-toothed tiger in front of us, our body wants to do one of two things, fight or flight, and what it'll do is blood gets shunted to the brain to think clearly, and it gets shunted to the muscles to do the fighting or the running, okay? At that point, digestion isn't important, so digestion tends to shut down a lot, which is why people are in a real intense stress and they've just had a meal that often bring it back up again. So just be aware, stress can affect digestion hugely, actually. I mean, we don't digest as well. So let's say we were survivors and we either killed the saber-toothed tiger or we got away from it and we were back again round the cave. Let's say we've got food, we've got warmth, and we've got our family round us, and that's our downtime and our rest time. So where we wouldn't really do much more doing, it would be a lot more along the lines of just being, okay, and just sitting around. And in that state, the body's just getting its rest and its recovery, and it has many hours maybe in those days to rest and recover. And the doses of stress were just short, really short and intense, but then there was lots of time for relaxing. So it's in a really good balance, that stress response, and it was just a lot better balance and much better on the body. Now, what's happened now is modern day life is very, very different. So the stress response now is occurring not to saber-toothed tigers, but what are the other stresses in people's lives? It can be, family stress, work stress. It can be dashing around to just spinning lots of plates or dashing from A to B really quickly, deadlines. It could be being in pain. It could be eating the wrong foods causes the stress. So huge amount of ongoing stresses these days, which mean they still have the same effect on our body. They still cause the stress response, a release of adrenaline and cortisol, these hormones in our body that actually create the stress response and are part of the stress response. So let's just have a little moment to think a little further. Bear with me, Sharpie. Yeah, so let's just have a little moment to think about the different types of stresses. So yes, we can have good stresses, okay? So there's some good physical stresses that we have. So enough movement is a really good stress on our body. What I want you to make sure is that you're doing the right kind of movement for you. So make sure you check out the Movement Matters module. which will go into exercise and what's right for what person. But doing the right type of exercise for you is a really good physical stress. The bad physical stress is either over-exercising or doing too much that causes tiredness and injuries, etc. Or under-exercising, which just means that our circulation and our body doesn't function as well. Another physical stress could be in poor posture, in a bad posture. That can have a physical stress on our body. Then we've got chemical stresses. So these are things like, we've got good chemical reactions going on in our body all the time to keep us alive and healthy. And when we put good nutrition into our body, there's interactions with that nutrition that can be very much a good chemical stress. And that keeps us alive. The bad chemical stress is the chemicals that we're bombarded with every day, which I've talked about earlier, the pollution, chemicals that may well be in our food, in our body products and cleaning products, etc. So any toxicity from chemicals, and it's the cocktail effect of a lot of these chemicals in low doses that could be putting a stress on our body, on our liver, for example. And then we've got our mental stresses as well. This is what a lot of people tend to think about when it comes to stress. So we've got, there's lots of good mental stresses. So making a plan, having goals and visions in life, and setting them and moving towards them is a really positive, good stress. Overcoming the challenges and adversity to become a stronger, better person is a really positive stress. So part of that may be a bit stressful, but actually overcoming that and strengthening ourselves is a really good stress. But then we've got the bad mental stresses, and this could be poor communication to ourselves and to our others. What are we saying to ourselves on a daily basis that may be having a negative stress on our body? I'm no good at this, I can't do that, oh I'm rubbish at this, I never succeed in that. Focusing on the things that we don't want rather than things that we do want. I don't want to mess up this presentation that I'm doing, for example. Not feeling like there's enough time, not feeling like I can cope and manage with things, and not feeling like I'm kind of moving forwards and I'm kind of fed up and a bit depressed, let's say, or someone is fed up and depressed with where they're at. And these are all negative mental stresses that people can put on themselves. So, that gives you a bit of an insight into the different types of stresses that people can be experiencing.